Coming to the second chapter, globe latitudes and longitudes. In previous chapter, we already learned that our planet Earth is not a sphere. It is slightly flattened at the north and south poles and block in the middle. If you imagine how it looks, globe is a true model of the Earth. Coming to the globe. Globe is a spherical model of the Earth. What is globe? Globe is a Latin word globus, means sphere. There are two different types of globes, terrestrial and celestial. Globes may be varying size and types, big ones and small ones. Big ones which cannot be carried easily, small pocket globes and globe-like balloons which can be inflated and carried with easy. The globe is not at all fixed. It can be rotated the same way as a topspin or a potter wheel is rotated. On the globe, countries, continents and oceans are shown in their correct size. What is the importance of globe? Globe are important because they help us with geography and shows the location of distance and places. If it is difficult to describe the location of a point on a sphere like the Earth. Now the question arises, how to look a place on it? We need certain points of references and lines to find out the location of places. If you will notice that a needle is fixed through the globe is a tilted manner which is called axis. 2 points on the globe through which the needle passes are two poles, North Pole and South Pole. The globe can be moved around the needle from west to east, just as the Earth moves. But remember, there is a major difference. The real Earth has no such needle. It moves around the axis, which is an imaginary line. Coming to the latitude. Latitudes are measured an angle up from the equator. Another imaginary line running on the globe divides into two equal parts. The line is also known as equator. The northern half of the Earth is also known as northern hemisphere. The southern half of the Earth is also known as southern hemisphere. There are both equal halves. Therefore, the equator imaginary circle line is a very important to reference point to locate the places on the Earth. All parallel circles from the equator up to the poles are called parallels of latitudes. Latitudes are measured in degrees. The equator represents the 0 degrees latitude. Since the distance from the equator to either the poles is 1/4 of the circle around the Earth, it will measure 1/4 of 360 degrees is 90. Thus 90 degrees north latitude marks the North Pole and 90 degrees south latitude marks the South Pole. The value of each latitude is therefore followed by either the word north or south. Generally, this indicates the N or S. For example, both Chandapur in Maharashtra, India and Belo Horizontalis, Brazil are located in parallels of about 20 degrees latitude. But the former is 20 degrees north of the equator, is later 20 degrees south of the latitude. We therefore say Chandapur is situated at 20 degrees north latitude and Belo Horizontal is situated at 20 degrees south latitude. Important latitudes and heat zones. Beside the equator, 0 degrees, the northern pole is 90 degrees and the southern pole is 90 degrees south. Coming to the torrid zone. The midday sun is exactly overhead at least once a year on all latitudes in the between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. This area receives the maximum heat is called torrid zone. Coming to the temperature zone, the midday sun never shines overhead on a day latitude behind the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. The angle of sun rises goes the decreasing towards the pole. As such, the area bounded by Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and the Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle and the southern hemisphere have moderate temperatures. These are therefore called as temperature zones. Coming to the frigid zones, area lying between the Arctic Circle in the northern pole in northern hemisphere and the Antarctic Circle in the south pole and southern hemisphere are very cold. It's because here the sun does not rise much above the horizon. Therefore, the rays are always slanting and provides less heat. These are called frigid zone. Coming to the Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer means 23.5 degrees north in the northern hemisphere. Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 degrees south in the southern hemisphere. Arctic Circle at 66 6.5 degrees north of the equator. Antarctic Circle at 6.5 degrees south of the equator. Coming to the longitudes. To fix the position of a place, it is necessary to know something more than the latitude of the place. You can see, for example, Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean are situated on the same latitude 20 degrees south. Now, in order to locate them precisely, we must find out how far east or west these places are from a given line of reference running from the North Pole to the South Pole. These lines of references are called meridians of longitude, and the distance between them are measured in degrees of latitude. Each degree is further divided into minutes and minutes into seconds. There are semicircles and the distance between them decreases steadily polewards until it becomes 0 at the pole, where all meridians are meet. Coming to the prime meridian is an imaginary line on Earth that passes north to south through the Greenwich Observatory in London, England. The prime meridian divides Earth into the eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. The prime meridian is at 0 degrees longitude. The longitude of a place is followed by the letter E for the east and W for the west. Coming to the grid. Combination of meridians of longitude and parallels of latitude establish a framework or grid by means of which exact position can be determined to difference of the prime meridian and the equator. Now look at the grid of the parallels of latitude and meridians and longitudes all the globe. You can locate any point on the globe very easily if you know its latitude and longitude. For example, Dharavi in Assam is situated at 26 degrees north latitude and 90 degrees east in longitude. Find out the points where these two lines cut each other. The point will be location of Dharavi. To understand this clearly, draw equidistance of vertical and horizontal lines on a paper. Label the vertical rows with numbers and horizontal lines with letters. Draw some small circles randomly on points with these horizontal and vertical lines intersect each other. Now these small circles are A, B, C, D and D. Let vertical lines represents the east latitudes and the horizontal lines are represent as north latitude. Time zones of the world. The best means of measuring time is by the movement of the earth, the moon and the planets. The sun regularly rises and sets every day, and it's naturally the best timekeeper throughout the world. Local time can be reconnoitered by the shadow cast by the sun, which is the shortest at noon and longest at sunrise and sunset. When the prime meridian of Greenwich has the sun at the highest point in the sky, all the places along this meridian will have midday or noon. Or as the earth rotates from west to east, those places east of Greenwich will be ahead of Greenwich time and those of the west will be behind it. The rotate of difference can be calculated as follows. The earth rotates in 360 degrees in about 24 hours. Okay, which means 15 degrees rotates at 1 hour. 1 degree rotates at 4 minutes. Thus, when it is the 12 noon at Greenwich, the time is 15 degrees. East of the Greenwich will be taken as 15 degrees into 4 equals to 60 minutes. Because 15 degrees is completed in 1 hour. 1 degree is completed at 4 minutes. 1 hour ahead of Greenwich time, which means 1 p.m. But at 15 degrees west of Greenwich, the time will be behind Greenwich time by 1 hour. It will be 11 a.m. Similarly, at 180 degrees, it will be midnight when it is 12 noon at Greenwich. At any place, a watch can be adjusted to read 12 o'clock when the sun is the highest point in the sky when it is a midday. The time shown by such a watch will give the local time for the place. You can see that all the places on given meridians of longitude have say local time. Coming to the Indian Standard Meridian, the local time of places that lies on the different meridians differs. It's therefore necessary to adopt the local times of some central meridian of a country as the standard meridian for the country for uniformity. For example, it will be difficult to prepare a timetable for trains which across several longitudes in India. For instance, there will be a difference of about 1 hour and 45 minutes in the local time of Dwarka in Gujarat and Dibug in Assam. It's therefore necessary to adopt the local time of central meridians of a country as the standard time for country in India. The longitude of 82.5 degrees east is treated as standard meridian. The local time at this meridian is taken as standard meridian for whole country. It is also known as Indian Standard Meridian Time. For example, one fine day, one guy is watching cricket at night. Match between India and England had started at 2 p.m. In London, this means that the match would begin at 7:30 p.m. in India and finish well into the night. Do you know what is the time difference between India and England? India located east of Greenwich at 82 degrees 30 east in 5 hours and 30 minutes ahead of, so that will be 7:30 p.m. in India when it is 2 p.m. noon in London. Some countries have a great longitude extent and so they have adopted more than one standard time. For example, in Russia, there are many 11 standard times that has been divided into 24 time zones of 1 hour each. Each zone has covered 15 degrees longitude.